I'm enjoying listening a little bit to the person who does the show, Lift the Veil. I don't agree with all of his stuff, but that's fine. It is comical, though, that he thinks that 98,000 means that he's the beacon of truth who's breaking the rules. When I've actually outdone him on production content, shared videos, and I have 2,130 subscribers on YouTube. But anyways, I really could not sleep tonight. I don't know why. It's very windy here in Connecticut, or excuse me, Massachusetts. Maybe I had some caffeine late. I don't know. Maybe I didn't move around enough today. Whatever the case, I couldn't sleep. And sometimes I listen to like these videos about where they talk about the different moons in the solar system. Sometimes they will talk a little bit slower than necessary, and things like that can help me get to sleep. I felt compelled again, because all the talk, all the rage is about Candace Owens, to re-listen to a video which was made in 2017 by a channel called Armor Skeptic. They're still making videos, by the way. They describe themselves as a real liberal, and I don't really know how to quantify their stuff. They have videos that are getting many, many thousands of views, tens of thousands. I think they have in the hundreds of thousands of subscribers currently on YouTube. And for whatever reason, this video is not available on YouTube. The one about Candace Owens. That was made in November of 2017. Hello, Fletch. Hello, BB. It's in the middle of the night. Yeah, it is in the middle of the night. I don't know how else to say it. I couldn't even wait till I woke up in the morning. Now, the video Red Pill Black is in the context, of course, being a 2017 video about what was known then. And this person is very much against the lies and the deceit that come from this alt media, social media, fake right, fake whatever you want to call it, fake pro-USA thing. I don't even know what to call it anymore, but it's definitely all show and it's definitely all an act. So when it comes to Paul Joseph Watson and Stefan Molyneux and presumably Steve Bannon, of course, and Mike Cernovich, he's on it. He's to call them out. And the video highlights how Candace Owens was being promoted by these voices in 2017. Hello to those who are here. I see 5 people on Twitch. I don't look at my comments on YouTube, but I'm looking at my comments on Twitch right now. So this video from 2017 is highlighting how those people all suddenly were promoting her as kryptonite, as Paul Joseph Watson said. An intelligent black conservative woman is kryptonite. She's what destroys the Democrat Party. Okay, whatever. Now the video goes into Candace Owens' history with this company, Social Autopsy. And I did post it on my YouTube channel, so it is available on my YouTube channel. And they go through her time with this Social Autopsy company and highlight an interview that she had on the Rubin Report show. But with so much of it being focused on Social Autopsy and doxing, Social Autopsy and anonymity, Social Autopsy and privacy. And, it started to occur to me a really simple question. Here's the thing. I don't know how it escaped the Armored Skeptic person. I don't know how it escaped me. And it's a very simple question. And she was age 24 at Social Autopsy, 24 to 26. Why was she so concerned and intrigued with anonymity on the internet? Think about that. We're just going to land there for a minute. I'm 52 years old. I was the top competitive analyst within the data storage division of Dell and previously EMC. I've worked in data storage my whole life. Now, granted, I'm a expert in backup and archival and tier 1 storage. My job was really not necessarily security or dealing with the current legislation and how laws apply to the internet. My job is always making sure that data was there and data was destroyed after it reached an expiration date. And even with my age, the seniority I had in that industry specifically, the amount of jobs that I've done, think about this. I'm still open-minded and confused about the pros and cons of anonymity on the internet. Think about that. So if I worked at EMC, Dell, NetApp Corporation, I was even with Datto Corporation, and you know what that means. I was with corporate technologies. I was an engineer. I was in pre-sales. I was a product marketing director, and I'm currently managing one of the largest free, openly available archives on the internet. If I don't have solid, and I mean solid, well thought out, world-leading views on internet anonymity, then why is Candace Owens at age 25 concerned about it? What could Candace Owens at age 25 or 26 possibly have had to offer with respect to an innovative worldview on doxing, an innovative worldview? Think about the staff that was at Social Autopsy. Look, this may be received to some as some type of misogynistic statement. This is the staff of Social Autopsy, a group of attractive, young, non-technical women are suddenly interested in dedicating their lives to internet anonymity? That does not make any sense. This single question will lead you to revisit everything about Candace Owens and everything about the people who support Candace Owens. And it's going to lead you to realize what an atomic bomb this is in seeing how the entire world of media, Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Clintons, and everything else tie in. This is a nuke. Why, at age 25, is Candace Owens so concerned with internet doxing and anonymity? Anybody? Social Autopsy is regarded as the catalyst for Candace Owens' rise as a conservative figure. Kind of, sort of, but that you're getting ahead of yourself, Fletch. Think about all of the details. Legislatively, we're not even talking technically. All of the social aspects of being online as your real self or anonymous. Why is Candace Owens taking on this as a company? She doesn't have any programming skills. She is with other people who have no programming skills. At age 52, double her age there. I'm 52 right now, with a 23-plus year career in the computer industry as one of the top competitive analysts in the world in data storage. I'm still confused and open-minded about this. The truth is because it wasn't her gosh darn idea. The person who was responsible, however, for dealing with commercialization of the internet, and the person who was responsible working with the FTC going all the way back to the 1990s on issues regarding anonymity, was Ira Magaziner, the same person that worked in the Clinton administration to lead the policy development for national health care. Ira Magaziner of Rhode Island was. So if Ira Magaziner was already thinking about anonymity issues, doxing issues in the 1990s, and is a key part of driving a vast majority of legislation regarding these issues on the internet, then this is a type of thing which Ira Magaziner of Rhode Island, 20-plus years then leading the Clinton Health Initiative, would have still been thinking about come the year 2014. And it just so happens that the co-founder of the social autopsy company, Zoe Weiner, her dad, Mark Weiner, is one of the top DNC fundraisers and a friend of Ira Magaziner going all the way back to the 1970s. Can you see this? This means that the social autopsy company was an idea that was being fiddled with by the Democrat Party. Now, I'm sure other Republicans as well. I don't want to say, I did just say it's a Democrat Party, but the key names and the key group spearheading this was the DNC. Now, in the video that we were watching regarding social autopsy, the person that was talking so much about it in 2017, providing this critical review of Candace Owens, that being Armored Skeptic. Armored Skeptic was reviewing Candace Owens' story about being a victim of a hate crime in high school. And they highlight how Candace Owens' story kind of flipped around a little bit there. No, here's the thing, though, Reginald. You're right. There's many similar doxing organizations. But I'll bet you most doxing organizations are connected with people who, at the very least, work at programmers. We're talking about the most visible doxing organization that was run by people who weren't programmers at all, mostly attractive women in their 20s. Now, the issue that Candace Owens says got her into thinking about cyberbullying was her story in high school, which is a little bit mushy. There was a payout. I don't know whether or not, how much of it is true or not. It could be 100% true. It could be elements of it true. I don't know. What I needed to highlight, though, there's two things. One is what Armored Skeptic missed, what most people miss, is that it wasn't just one incident. There were two separate incidents. One involved 3 men, and the earlier one involved 3 girls, calling her the N-word and supposedly kicking her because she was black. So there were multiple incidents in high school which caused her, Candace Owens, by the end of high school to be working with the NAACP, and most importantly, by the end of high school, Jesse Jackson. And Jesse Jackson is also an associate of Ira Magaziner, going all the way back to the 1980s. You can do compound searches for Jesse Jackson and Ira Magaziner in the 1980s. And then Jesse Jackson's, one of his best friends in his whole life is Mark Weiner, who, holy cow, daughter is the person that Candace Owens starts this company with. There is no way that this is just random. So let's just say it bluntly, okay? The social autopsy company and this doxing company was a concept that came out of the likes of Ira Magaziner, Jesse Jackson, Clinton Foundation, and other vested interests in new media, which would include Harvey Weinstein and previously investments pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein. And the Jeffrey Epstein thing is not a stretch because it's Ira Magaziner who was recently been shown to be a guest on the Jeffrey Epstein plane going out to Africa. And it's no coincidence that in the year 2025, Candace Owens is the first person to land an interview in 8 or 9 years of Harvey Weinstein. Of course, Harvey Weinstein is starting a magazine, is in the magazine business with Jeffrey Epstein in the early 2000s. Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, I believe, have business going back to the 1990s. Harvey Weinstein is also another top DNC fundraiser. The person that manufactures all the DNC merchandise for 30, almost 40 years was Mark Weiner, the father of the person that Candace Owens starts her company with. Candace Owens is undoubtedly a key DNC operative. Without question, undoubtedly 100% at this point. The reason why all suddenly this curiosity and life passion, supposedly, about a doxing company that's going to maintain public records and deal with technical anonymity issues is precisely because it was an idea that was tossed out there, and I'm sure it was vetted through the likes of Ira Magaziner and others. I mean, we are talking about individuals that were chief technical strategists to previous U.S. presidents. The involvement of Milo Yiannopoulos with the whole Gamergate saga, I don't know how much of that was scripted, how much of that was organic. It's not clear. At no point did Candace Owens make any statement during the Gamergate story that suggested that she was going to be a conservative. It was really focusing on hate crimes. In fact, the more I look back on it, the more she was really playing up being the victim of another hate crime. The blog posts that came out of this Degree 180 group, which led to or became Social Autopsy, was her saying that Republicans need to die. You know, things will be better. Eventually, conservatives will die because they'll get old and they'll just die. This is not someone that's just going to flip the switch. Her coming out as a conservative is an act. It is an act. I can't believe how much I have learned about the computing industry and about how money was being laundered and how private equity got involved and Jeffrey Epstein and so on by having finally a fresh, hard-packed surface to explore this with that was disconnected with this bullshit, irrational, anti-American, you can't talk about the opioid epidemic anymore because we all need to focus on saving Candace Owens above anything and everything. The Charlie Kirk assassination has definitely led to multiple new channels coming out of nowhere. I mean, out of nowhere. 2030. Dude, I was watching someone today who had no videos 3 months ago and is now constantly getting 5,000 to 8,000 viewers concurrently during a stream. For nothing more than, I guess Erica is bad. So I guess Erica Kirk, because her ass is so awesome, it was able to get away with murdering somebody and nobody gives a shit. Not even the parents of Charlie Kirk. I'm glad I was able to capture this video from Armored Skeptic. And I'm just going to review. I'm going to review the thoughts here. I'm going to review this logic. Armored Skeptic did a review of Candace Owens in November 2017, supposedly showing that she was a narcissist or liar or something like that. Again, he's a real liberal, whatever the hell that means anymore. I don't know. It's kind of trashing her and how he was reviewing some discrepancies in her story regarding the hate crime allegations back in high school, but also really what her intentions were, what her spirit was with this Social Autopsy company. And what he missed, and what's so painfully obvious, is that there's no way any person in their mid-20s of that generation with no computer experience is suddenly going to drop everything they're doing and deal with a doxing site and all of the technical issues of internet anonymity, etc. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody else on the staff was even remotely interested in this. Why is Candace Owens starting this company with Zoe Weiner? It just doesn't make any sense. However, the people that were thinking about this type of stuff and leading these types of ideas going all the way back to the 1990s include, and in particular, might even been led by Ira Magaziner of Rhode Island. Ira Magaziner, who was one of the brainiacs of the Boston Consulting Group. Ira Magaziner, who was the main person working with Hillary Clinton on the National Healthcare Policy Plan, who went on to be the head of the Clinton Global Health Fund or Clinton Global Health Fund Initiative Foundation, whatever, I don't know, for almost 20 years. Ira Magaziner, who was on the Jeffrey Epstein plane in 2002 with Kevin Spacey and other people that I believe, such as Stephen Bing, who were at the funeral years later in 2016 of Mark Weiner. Ira Magaziner, who was a friend of Jesse Jackson, going easily back to the 1980s. And now that we are talking about Jesse Jackson, now I can see why people are constantly underplaying the claims that Candace Owens made about her being the victim of a hate crime in high school. Because the fact that she wasn't the victim of one, but two. One was 4 boys, the other one was 3 girls. Now the alarm bells should be going off that they potentially weren't real. Either that or she just did things that made people really, really hate her in high school. I don't know. Maybe she's just so narcissistic that maybe it just happened. I don't know. Maybe that's possible. But either way, in her own words, on the Stefan Molyneux show in September of 2017, right after Charlottesville, right after Charlottesville, she then goes on to be on the Stefan Molyneux show, the Cernovich show. These are all people associated with Milo Yiannopoulos, by the way. And then the Rubin report. And on the Stefan Molyneux show, she admitted she knew she came into contact with Jesse Jackson going back to her claims of being the victim of a hate crime in high school. And Jesse Jackson is an associate of this, what I just mentioned, Ira Magaziner going back to the 1980s. Jesse Jackson is also so close with the deceased as of 2016, Mark Weiner, that Jesse Jackson made Mark Weiner the godfather of his grandchildren. And Mark Weiner, daughter, is the person that who's also a good longtime friend, being out of Rhode Island. These are all Rhode Island contacts. With Ira Magaziner, his daughter is the person that's chosen to start this company with Candace Owens. That is a 3-point shot with a foul. That is a slam dunk from half court. That is the Air Jordan of slam dunks. And now the problem is, look at this network of people that has been clinging to supporting Candace Owens at any and all cost. Well, every single day, we still have another 300 plus people dying of a drug overdose, mostly under the age 40 in the United States, when our baseline was closer to 60 or 70 back in the 1990s. It can't get any visibility because people are wasting time talking about DIA whistleblowers and what type of gosh darn eggs they eat in the morning. Wasting time saying it doesn't matter how many Americans die of drug overdoses. It doesn't matter how many Americans die during COVID-19. It just doesn't matter because we need to protect Candace Owens above everything. And we think it's cool and sexy to blame Erica Kirk for being involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We don't care about anybody except Candace Owens. And Candace Owens, she should be heard. What points? What has she said that's relevant to anything? Has she said anything? Anything at all? Anything at all relevant to the drug epidemic, which has dropped life expectancy? No, she doesn't say shit about anything that means anything of any value to anybody. She just doesn't. And that is her job, by the way. I'm not saying she's not capable or smart. That's not her job. You know, what the hell are you doing here, mobster? Mobster, get the hell out of my chat. Go back to George Webb. Pull his pants down and get back to work. What the hell are you doing here? Get away. I'm going to freaking block you. Get away. My granddaughter has to live her life without a dad. And you are spending your days on your knees praising George Webb for accomplishing nothing about anything worth any value. Blocking you. Get the hell out of here, you worthless asshole. Adios. Get back to work with your Candace Owens supporter, wasting everyone's time, leading to more deaths. Adios. George Webb. Oh, yeah, and that's the another awesome piece of data here. the talk magazine that nobody wants to talk about because it even gets into validating many of my 9/11 ideas. The one episode that I finally found today, I think it was the May 2001 issue, has Hugh Grant on the cover, which isn't the interesting part. The interesting part, this is a pre-9/11 issue, which is going to be about Dick, and it has on the cover, Dick Cheney, Mark Rich, and Terry McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia. Very good friend of Hillary Clinton, very good friend of Mark Weiner, the father of Zoe Weiner. Zoe Weiner, who spent so much time in the White House that she knows her way around the White House because she's regularly going shopping with Hillary Clinton, the person that Candace Owens starts her company with. He's also in that magazine. It's unbelievable. But I guess I'm 50 times more honest than Lift the Veil because I have 2,130 subscribers after everything I've lost. And he has 100,000. You know what, guys? I can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be over. I want this over. I want all the liars and the deceivers who are leading the deaths of so many people on the internet exposed for what they are. And I want to get back to my life. I want to get back to telling my family that I'm going to be working hard doing something that's going to bring home some money so I can actually pay bills and be the man of a house again. It's episode 1440. Mark Kulak, Houstonic.live.